Welcome back to Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy. Right now I'm going to go over AMC stock, explain what happened to it today. I'm also going to show you guys a couple things that I find very interesting that are happening in the market and why AMC could have more downside pressure in the moment. So before I even get into AMC stock, I want to show you guys the NASDAQ because there's a couple important points that I want to bring to you guys' attention to maybe help you understand why AMC is going down so much right now. And so if you look at the daily time frame on the NASDAQ, we have been trading in this pattern since about October of 2018, okay? And so if we go back here, you could see that when we on Friday back tested this line of resistance, Monday and Tuesday we followed up with monstrous days and we went right back above. So that is a very bullish sign for the NASDAQ in the short term. Okay, and now the second thing I want to show you guys is Amazon chart on the daily time frame. The reason why I'm showing you Amazon is because this is the biggest company in the NASDAQ. They have earnings today at 5:30 after the bell, and we've been trading in this wedge since about June of 2020. And so if we look at it a little bit closely, we did break out above this pattern to the upside today. And so we also have earnings coming up in which we have projections of potentially $100 billion quarter for Amazon, which would be the first time they've ever done that. And so I bring those two bullish points up because if you were not paying attention to the markets today and I was to explain to you those two bullish points, you would potentially assume that AMC was going to have a green day or do all right on the day because overall markets were up and the biggest company, Amazon, could be potentially having a record earnings. But if we look at what happened with AMC today, we were down 42%. The biggest problem I have with AMC and GameStop is the fact that big hedge funds don't want to lose, which is fine because nobody wants to lose. But the way they're going about these movements is so unfair to the retail investor that it gives you no chance to succeed. And I say that because you have platforms that are restricting the buying that we already know. They're only allowing selling. They're only allowing limited amounts of buying of certain securities. In addition, you have a lot of AMC shareholders on the Robinhood platform. And why that becomes so dangerous for the retail investor is because Robinhood is essentially controlled by big money. And when I say controlled, because Robinhood doesn't have any commission fees that are directly associated with the stock purchase. But what happens is with the bid and the asking price, a lot of these big hedge funds actually have access to the data of Robinhood. And so what happens is when you buy a stock on Robinhood, those bigger hedge funds already know what price you're going to buy it at. And so those hedge funds already have an advantage because they're buying that same stock at a cheaper price and then they just run up the bid and ask. So you're actually paying more for your stock. And so instead of paying for the commission that you would pay on a typical brokerage, you're actually spending higher prices on the stock itself. And so if that happens millions of times a day, you could already imagine how much money the hedge funds are making just specifically off of you buying a stock. So not only are you handcuffed as a retail investor to buy certain securities, you're also losing because if you're buying on the Robinhood platform, the big money already got the same stock as you at a cheaper price. And so the one time that they lose at their own game, the big money comes down on Robinhood to try to shut down the trading for those securities so the big hedge funds don't lose this kind of money. And so I know a lot of people that maybe watch this video are trying to get their money out of Robinhood and they're trying to get it onto another platform. But the problem with that becomes they can bring this price down as low as they want and then they can cover their short position on AMC and then there'll be a very reduced level of short interest on the stock. So by the time you get your position on another brokerage, it might be too late already. And that is a situation it looks like that's happening with AMC. This is just really unfair for the retail investor. It's not fair how we're already the underdogs in the situation and we have piles of disadvantages to begin with. And so to come back and try to do what they're doing to us is unethical, it's illegal, and something has to be done about it. And right now, the only people who are suffering are AMC shareholders because there's nothing really you can do about it. It's just one of those things where there's constant selling. You're not allowed any buyers in. Robinhood has a lot of pressure. You're switching to a different brokerage. By the time you get to the other brokerage, the short interest has gone down. They've covered their positions and now they're prepared if you are trying to buy the stock on the other brokerage. So it just doesn't look good for AMC. It's not fair to the retailers, but the fact of the matter is that is exactly what's going on. as somebody who knows how hard it is to make money, I wouldn't advise you to put into a company like this, because there was only one reason why we bought this stock. And if that one reason is getting shafted, getting restricted, and the hedge funds are doing absolutely everything they can to not let that happen, there's no other reason to buy this stock. And if you do, you're going to lose a lot of money on it. And that's just the fact of the matter. And that's exactly what's happening. Is it fair? No. Is it ethical? No. Is it something that we're going to have to live with? Yeah. And it's one of those things that as a retail investor and SEC, someone's got to figure this out, because there can't just be a world where the hedge funds keep winning. And they say that they want to reduce the inequality gap, but the rich always get richer and the poor always get poorer. And it's because of things like this that are out of our control. And so if we're just looking at AMC on the 30-minute time frame today, we tested this bottom line here of support at 734 that I warned you guys about. We did hold above it, but at the end of the day, the volume's just not looking good. There's a lot more sellers than buyers. There's too many restrictions going on. Robinhood is in cahoots with hedge funds. It's a situation that it doesn't look like the retailers are going to win in. And so those of you who are switching brokerages, just be careful. You want to put your money into a company that has good fundamentals for a long-term investment. This was a good trading opportunity that just seems like it got squashed by the big guy. And as much as we try to fight it, I think we're going to lose, because there's just nothing that we can really do. Like, we are legitimately handcuffed to do anything about this situation. Very unfortunate day, very disappointing day for me, and just overall, just looking at the markets as a whole and just seeing what's happening to the little guy, the retail investor. But that is my little update on AMC. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like. If you guys made it to this point, feel free to hit that subscription button. This is Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.